Everybody, thank you so much for being here for our last third Thursday of the 2021 school year. Unbelievable, but looks like we made it, everybody. So without any further ado, I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to welcome Miss Tenika Chavis. Chavis, none of the above. Wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm very excited to welcome Miss Tenika. And so as not to take up any more of anybody's time, I'm just going to let Miss Tenika take it away. So, Ms. Tenika.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tenika. I live in Pittsburgh, and I am the owner of the LadyCarpenter.com. And I became a Lady Carpenter because I was actually interested in buying, fixing, and selling houses as an investor, not a landlord, not a real estate agent. I wanted to be an investor because I read in a book that the best way to build wealth was through real estate. And, I didn't have anybody in my network, my family or my friends or anybody like that. I didn't have anybody to teach me that stuff. But I read a lot. And one of the books I read talked about, getting wealthy, making a lot of money, having the freedom to travel and to live however you want. And so that piqued my curiosity about real estate. So that's what we're going to talk about today is, my journey into becoming the Lady Carpenter and my passion for real estate. Are the students allowed to interact?
Oh yeah, very much encouraged to do so. I know a lot of the students are putting things in the chat. So if we have any responses to questions or questions for you, I'll make sure to read them out of the chat.
Okay, all right, great. So if you guys have any questions about real estate, my goal was to become a millionaire. So is any of your goals to become a millionaire? As that's what I really want to talk about. How to become was that Miss Trinity?
Yes.
And is it Nakoya? You want to be a trillionaire. You can definitely do it. You can definitely do it. So in the Pittsburgh area, a neighborhood where I'm from is called Clareton. And so I did not know a lot about houses, but as I learned more and more, I learned that, there are different salaries for different job types. And with a high school level of education, I knew that I might make, $25,000 to $30,000 a year with that type of salary. However, I knew friends that were, fixing, like doing repairs, like working on cars, doing plumbing, doing electrical, and they were making $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and that was without going to college. So I knew that going to trade school was a good idea, or learning a skill was a good idea. But how about no one would take me under their wing and teach me the trade, and by the time I had decided to get into the trades, I was married, I had children, I, had figured out how to buy my own home. So becoming a student again without pay wasn't an option for me. But I did get into the Carpenters Union, and that's where I got my start. There's an apprenticeship program that will pay you while you learn. So I had already gone to college. So unfortunately, I did go to college, and not unfortunately, I'm sorry, I did go to college, but I had some debt associated with college. And what the union did for me was it allowed me to learn a trade also while they paid me. And I think back then I started in 2013, I think. So I was already in my 30s. So I was making, at that time, I think it was $17 an hour, but every year you get a $4 raise. So I got into the trades. I got into the trades because I read another book by Robert Kiyosaki called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And everything that I was thinking about, making a lot of money, learning while I earn, all the ideas that I had thought about, he had put in that book. And that inspired me to take advantage of the apprenticeship program, because he told the rich dad told, there's two dads, there's a poor dad and a rich dad. The advice that the rich dad gave the son, he said to get a job, not only for what you can earn, but also for what you can learn and who you can become. I still wanted to be a real estate investor. I knew that I could get a job. I knew that I could make decent money. However, I wanted to become someone who can identify when a job is well done. Like, contractors rip people off all the time, and I didn't want to be someone that got ripped off. So once I started buying my real estate, so I joined the apprenticeship program and started working as a carpenter. So that's how I learned how to do carpentry, is through the union apprenticeship school. I still didn't buy, any real estate. I was starting to learn, and I think we had bought one house, which me and my husband at the time and my children, we were living in it. So I wasn't technically a real estate investor. I wasn't building true wealth. I was just paying a lot of bills at that time. So, so that began my journey into becoming a lady carpenter. I still continue to read and learn about real estate. I started going to real estate investor meetings that were local and building my network, increasing my knowledge. And I met a young a person there, and he talked about getting his first $1 million and how challenging it was to just get to his first $1 million. Well, I asked him how he did it, and he said he did it by just buying up the houses, and he did not take, he rented them out, but instead of living off of the money from the rental income, he just let the houses pay themselves off. And between 5 and 7 years, some got paid off in 5 years, some of them got paid off in 7 years, but he had acquired $1 million worth of assets. And to me, it seemed so simple. It sounded so simple, except I didn't have good credit. I, had a sketchy employment history. So I was trying to become something called bankable. That means that when the bank looks at you and you fill out an application for a loan, that they like what they see and they're willing to loan you money and to take a chance on you. I wasn't bankable, y'all. I just wasn't. Whenever I had good credit, that was because I was working all the time. So I had money, but then I didn't have time. And then whenever I had time, that was because I wasn't working. So then I didn't have the credit. So it was always something. Either I had cash, no credit, no cash, no time. And so it was always something for me. Things changed when I started helping people in my community fix up their houses. So I had learned this new skill as a carpenter, and I knew people, older women in my community, older families with children, single moms with children. So I would start doing repairs to make their houses safe, like the porch, fixing steps, fixing doors and windows, patching holes. And they would often tell me about properties that they had that they simply could not afford to fix up, or they just didn't want anymore. So my first property, I was actually able to get it from a woman who was in Tennessee. She was from Pittsburgh, but she lived in Tennessee, and she couldn't afford the repairs. And so that was my first investment property. I was able to get that property from her. It was already rented out. So I used the rental income to pay her instead of me having to qualify for a mortgage at the bank. And that's how I was able to buy my first property with no money out of my pocket, without going to the banks, because this lady, she didn't want it anymore. She couldn't take care of it anymore. And so I began to start the strategy to acquire my first $1 million. So all of you, I just want to share with you the strategy to acquire your first $1 million. How old are you guys? So in 5 to 7 years, if however old you are now, what age will you be in 5 to 7 years? Trinity and
I think I'll be
can't see the chat.
21 or 22.
Okay, you'll be 21, 22. Okay. All right. So let's just say, what if you could become a millionaire by the age of 25? Is everybody here under 20? So what if I could give you a plan to become a millionaire?
Miss Carla, you're gonna hurt your neck shaking your head that hard.
I'm listening because I have money and good credit. Go ahead, preach.
Okay. So I told you guys I'm from Clareton, right? So Clareton is a low income area. It is also, I believe, an opportunity zone. The reason I'm telling you about Clareton is because my goal was to acquire 20 properties, and each of those 20 properties would be valued at about $50,000 a piece. So if I got 20 of those properties and I rented them out and let the rent payment pay off that mortgage, just say I rented the house for a 3-bedroom house for $1,000 a month, right? How much would that be by the end of the year? That's 12,000 by the end of the year, right? For 1 year. If I just let it, and mind you, I told you I got a mortgage on that house for $50,000. If I put all of that money every single month on that property, how much would be paid off? When would that $50,000 mortgage be paid off? Which year would it be paid off? It would be like year 4.75 or something like that. It would be by the 5th year, that house would be free and clear. Now, multiply that, and that house, maybe it went up in value, maybe it stayed the same. But if I had 20 properties that did that, and I rented my properties out for 20 families, and I did that same strategy for just 20 properties, in 5 years, I would have $1 million worth of assets. And that's something that you guys can do. You can do it. Your neighbors can do it. Your friends can do it. And people are doing it every day. And this is how, this is how we make our money. We get houses, we rent them out, and we allow the houses to pay us.
Miss Tenika, we have a couple questions in the chat. I'm sorry to interrupt. Trinity
That's fine,
asked,
go ahead.
Trinity asked, have you met your goal of becoming a millionaire?
Actually, I have. I have $1 million in assets. Yes.
Congratulations, that's huge. And
Thank you very much.
Miss Danielle asked, don't you have to work to put that money into the apartment or house you're renting out?
That's a good question, Miss Danielle. So the average home sale in the Pittsburgh, I say Allegheny County, is about $100,000. Now, instead of me, I was in Clareton. I didn't know, So instead of needing 20 properties, you can actually buy 10 properties. The only thing that it'll take a little bit longer for those properties to pay themselves off, maybe 7 to 10 years, depending on the cash flow. But when you are bankable, banks will give you credit and mortgages to acquire income producing assets. And some of these properties don't need any work. You can buy a property that is in good shape, move in ready, and rent it out to a family and allow them to live there. You might have to maintain the property, change the filters, do the yard work. There'll be some expenses. So, but there are entire business plans around, like, this is an actual business that you can run and make a decent income from. So some of the houses do not need any work.
All right, thank you.
Was there more questions?
I have a question. So is there a lot of available real estate in Clareton now?
There's opportunities all over the place. And I'm on my way back from Alabama and Georgia. I went down to look at acquiring mobile homes. There's some mobile home parks that were inherited by a younger person, a family, and he doesn't want them. He doesn't know what to do with them. So, you know, I'm going to be looking to partner with him on getting those, you know, up and running. But there's opportunities all over the place, not just Clareton. There's opportunities in let's say I just bought a house in Sheridan, Glassport, where else? Larimer, Homewood, Wilkinsburg. Like there are properties available. Yes.
And Danielle asked in the chat, so if you have a good amount of money in the bank, they might help out depending on what you've got.
So if you have a good amount of money in the bank, I say keep it in the bank. I also work with other investors, especially first-time investors. I have a program called Invest With Me. It's a new program, which I'm learning a lot about myself, working with other people. So there are lenders out there that will lend to you. It's called asset-based lending. So they will evaluate the house, the asset. And again, if you're running this as a business, you can't live there, okay? These are called non-owner occupied. That's what the bank is going to look for. They will lend to you based on the asset itself. And so sometimes they will want money down, but there are lenders where you don't have to put any money down. What they're going to want you to do is to, let's say there's a property, it's worth $100,000, but you're able to acquire it for $60,000. They see that there's equity in the property, and they're going to say, okay, what are the rents in that area? You can rent it out for $1,000 a month, and they know that your mortgage payment is going to be probably around, you know, $600 to $700 a month. So they know that that asset will pay for itself, and they will lend to you based on the asset. And so if you have money in the bank, that's great. I say keep it in the bank, because once you start acquiring these properties, it's always good to have a reserve. Water tanks can go, roofs can leak, you know, and you're going to want to have a reserve account. If you do have money in the bank, and let's say you get a property and you have to put some money down, you want to do what I call a cash in, cash out return on investment. And you want to do another analysis, another measurement to see when are you going to get your cash back. You want to get your cash back out of each deal and back into the bank as soon as possible so that you could use that money to do future investment deals. Okay, any other questions?
That's it for now. Thank you so much.
Okay. I see another question.
There
Was
is a
that
question.
Danielle?
Yeah,
Okay.
Danielle said, so
Oh,
the plan
just popped
is
up.
to
Okay.
fix a broken down house and go from there.
Nope. The goal is the goal is to acquire 1 million in assets within 5 to 7 years. So that's the goal. So if you can get a house that is not broken down, that's better because you can get it rented faster and you don't have to spend so much money. It's so much time fixing it. So you want to get houses that need little or no work. And the goal is to get someone else, a renter who's going to rent anyway, to rent your property for 5 to 7 years and pay down that mortgage for you. That's the goal. The strategy can be, your strategy could be to just focus on broken down houses, but you don't have to. I wouldn't. So the goal is to acquire 1 million in assets within 5 to 7 years. And that's a simple strategy to do it. A simple way to do it. a simple plan. Now, the strategy for which you do it, your strategy and your tactics are different things. Miss Carla, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, if you all aren't clear, the house is actually the asset. So
Yes.
when she's saying there's $1 million in assets, those properties can become liquid because you can borrow against the equity in those homes, and they're all worth a minimum of 50,000. There's 20 of them. That's where the $1 million comes in. So
Oh yeah, we didn't do the math. I'm sorry, we didn't do the math. Okay, what is 20 times 50,000? That's $1 million. 10 times 100,000. $1 million. Now, keep it. There are houses out there, and the banks will lend to you. I was on the phone with a lender today. I always talk to lenders. I want to know who has money and what do I got to do to get it, because I want more houses. I have a 17-year-old who wants to travel the world, and she's going to need some assets. And so I'm going to be looking to buy properties for her as well. So this is the conversation that I wanted to have with you guys. Everybody can teach you and tell you how to get a job, how to fill out a job application. Nobody taught me about balance sheets, profit and loss statements, my personal financial statement. Nobody told me about all those things. And so this is the conversation I want to have with you guys is, okay, how do you build a financial system around yourself that allows you to be the person that you really want to be, allow you to live the life that you really want to live, and help the people, excuse me, help the people that you really want to help. And so for me, you know, my path out of poverty was to get a good paying job to become a carpenter. That income allowed me to become bankable. And once I, you know, understood how to acquire real estate and income producing properties, I was able to develop a strategy to allow me to travel with my children. So they just got out of the car, but you can see all their stuff in the back. I was able to, because I own my companies, all my companies, I own them. I was able to delegate the work to someone else and take off. And I scheduled business meetings down here, which is why I'm late. I'm sorry. One of my meetings got pushed back, so I had to stay another day. But I'm working on another deal down here in Georgia.
Georgia real estate is much higher than Pittsburgh. So what part of Georgia and what part of Alabama? Because I have family in both.
Okay, so the areas that I visited in Georgia were Marietta, Stone Mountain, Tucker, Georgia, Riverdale, and I can't remember the other place where I was. I was downtown for a while, but we were just having meetings down. I didn't look at anything. The places that I visited in Alabama were Montgomery, Selma, Prattville, and I think Shiloh, Alabama.
I have family in all of those cities, in both states. Because my husband and I were looking at real estate in Selma this past year. And I mean, there's a lot of real estate there, the old military base in Selma.
We might be cousins. We might be cousins.
We might be. Hey, if it's a Star Wars anywhere near your family, we're related. So
So guys, I really, I really want you to, I just really wanted to expand your mindset about what's possible. I wanted to share with you, what I did and how I did it. I wanted to let you know that there's no mystery involved. And if you, I can write this out and print it up for you. I'm actually developing a plan for a $100 million portfolio that I'm building for me and my family. If you want to reach out to me, is it okay if I give them the Lady Carpenter email?
Yes, absolutely.
It's Tenika at theladycarpenter.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can just Google Lady Carpenter and you can Google Tenika Deshawn. And all my information will pop up. It's all over the internet. You can go to the website, theladycarpenter.com. There's a web form on there. You can ask me questions. It'll come to my email. It's better to message me through Messenger, because I don't check. I'm always busy. I check my email at like 4 a.m. or 10 p.m., like right before I go to sleep or when I wake up. But I'm really excited about this. And, it has allowed me to develop what I'm calling financial confidence, because I didn't have it before. I did not understand the debits and credits of a checking account and all of those things. I did not know what the sections of the personal financial statement was. I didn't understand a profit loss statement. And I was really afraid of debt. I was afraid of debt because people in my life told me, hey, stay away from it. It's bad. It's evil. It's terrible. The thing about debt is it requires maturity and discipline in order to manage it. And instead of, surrounding me with fear, I wish I was surrounded with education, because I missed out on a lot of opportunity because I did not understand the financial world. And now I talk to lenders from all over the world who are excited that I understand investments. And I want you guys to understand how to invest, how to analyze an investment. I have a property that I wanted to tell you guys about. It's a property in Glassport. And I bought that house. It was one of the houses I bought with no money out of my pocket. It's listed as a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. It's actually a 4-bedroom, 1 bathroom. You can look it up if you want on the Allegheny County Assessment website or on Zillow. The address is 433 Erie Street in Glassport. That house, the owner was selling it. It wasn't even for sale. I was talking to him about a property in Homestead, and it was a duplex. And I knew that I could rent the duplex for $600 and $600. So that was going to be $1,200 a month, and it was going to pay itself off. And he wanted $60,000 for it. So it met my 5 to 7 year payoff. So the numbers worked. And we couldn't get the deal done, and he felt bad. So he told me about another property in Glassport. And for that one, he wanted $45,000. And he said it was a 3-bedroom. The county assessment site, I think, listed it as a 2-bedroom. When I visited the house, it had 3 bedrooms on the 2nd floor, and it had an open attic, which could be used as a 4th bedroom. So that's what I listed it as. I rented that property for $1,100. I just bought it in 2019, in February 2019. It was already rented at $800. The lady moved out right after COVID, and somebody else wanted to move in. Excuse me. And so I rented it for $1,100. But I was worried because people had stopped paying their rent. So I gave her a discount. I said, look, if you pay your rent on time every month, I'll discount it $100. So she pays $1,000 a month, every month. And I bought it for, the sales price was $45,000. I didn't have the money to buy it. I asked the seller if he could owner finance it for me. He said that he would owner finance $35,000 of it, and I had to bring him $10,000 in cash. I didn't have $10,000 in cash. However, I was working with some investors, and they asked me, what are you working on? What do you need? It's just funny how things just kind of line themselves up. Once you get clear on what you want and you're working towards something, it is so crazy how things just kind of work out. And another investor asked me, what did I need? I was so scared. I wasn't used to asking for money from people. I was used to working hard for it. So they teach us to work hard, right? I want to teach you to ask for what you want. Get clear on what you want and how you want to live your life, and ask for what you want. And I needed $10,000 to close this deal. And so I told them about the deal, and I said, I need $10,000 to make it happen. And they looked at each other. It was a husband and wife couple, and they said, okay. So they gave me actually $13,000. They paid for the $10,000 down, plus the $3,000 that I needed for closing. And I was able to acquire that property with none of my own money, not using my credit because I didn't use a bank. But that property has 2 mortgages on it. So I'm in, I got some debt. It's $48,000, but that tenant pays every single month, and it's paying itself down. I talked to the tenant last month about buying it. Oh, there it is. That's the house, the yellow house. Thank you, Carla. And you see how big it is? Look at that side lot. She has children, so her children play in that lot. It has a backyard, a front porch, a back porch. So they love it there. I talked to them about buying the house. And if she wants to buy the house, I would sell it to her for $98,000. And she would become a homeowner. Now, not only would she pay off my mortgage, and that property would be free and clear, that house would count. I would actually double my investment, so that house would count towards my $10 million goal, because now it'll be sold to her for almost $100,000. So I would have her, now her loan becomes an asset. She takes the house, but then I create another asset, which is called a note, a $98,000 note. Now she's paying me on that note, and that's another asset that you guys can look into. Mortgage notes, promissory notes, those are paper assets, which can be sold and used as collateral with the banks and the lenders, or people who buy and sell notes. But that's how I got started into real estate, and that's one of the properties that I have in my portfolio that's right there in the area. And now I'm starting to expand and to acquire other properties. I also own the ladycarpenter.com, which allows me to travel and to speak and to do jobs that I enjoy. I enjoy doing tile and trim. I have another company called Black Diamond Renovations, where we remodel entire properties. Like, we do roofing, we do siding, we do basements, windows, doors. I work with people like Rebuilding Together Pittsburgh, Urban Redevelopment Authority, Oakland Planning and Development. And we provide people with construction services. I'm looking to turn that into a $10 million asset. That's part of my $100 million plan is to turn these construction companies into multi-million-dollar assets. Lady Carpenter will become an online asset, call it a digital asset. I own the ladycarpenter.com. As Lady Carpenter becomes more and more popular, that website becomes more valuable. I think right now it's worth about $5,000. I'll be doing a campaign and buying houses and putting the Lady Carpenter stamp on things. And as I do that, that domain becomes more and more valuable. I can sell it. The business model behind it becomes an asset. The Lady Carpenter LLC is an asset as I begin to do social media and speaking events and meet other Lady Carpenters. Somebody else can pick up the vision and say, hey, we want to partner with the Lady Carpenter, or would you consider selling the Lady Carpenter LLC to us? That LLC becomes another income producing asset that I can sell. So I want to expand your mind, not just to be somebody who can go out and get a good job. Learn how to create assets. You are an asset, whether you believe it or not. You are a walking multi-million-dollar enterprise. And once you believe that, you can do anything. You guys are absolutely amazing with the technology that you have today. I mean, you guys are so well positioned to do anything that you can even imagine. So if you want some ideas, or if you want to have a one-on-one, talk to me about what you like to do, and we can turn you into a written business plan. You're a walking enterprise. Let's put your business plan together and turn you into a multi-million-dollar asset. So that's what I want to talk about.
Awesome.
I want to talk
Thank
about
you
assets.
so much.
Where do I sign up?
I know,
I'm on
seriously.
your Facebook page.
Does anybody have any final questions or comments for Ms. Tenika?
Yeah, put me on the spot. I came in here talking a big game. Put me on the spot. Let's create $1 million plan for you right now.
I want the
We
$1
can
million
turn
plan.
anything.
You're on our Facebook. You're at our building on your Facebook post. I just pulled up your Lady Carpenter LLC, and this is at School to Career. So look,
That's so
you
cool.
finished that. Yeah, you finished that right before COVID. So we're
What's
like,
the
Yep,
most
I remember
money you
that.
have ever made?
yes. Would you say, Trinity?
What's the most money that you have ever made?
Like from one job, you mean?
In one day, okay. That's a tricky question. Okay, so the most that has ever been deposited into my bank account in one day was $47,000. Now, the reason that money was in my account was because it was like a culmination of like an entire year's worth of work though. So that's kind of a trick question, but that's the biggest deposit I've ever had. The most that I've ever made in a day, I supervised my very first roofing job. I supervised my very first roofing job in I think it was February of 2019. Excuse me. No. Okay, anyway, I supervised a roofing job. I don't know when. It was a couple years, a year or two ago. I didn't do any work. I didn't do any work. I was there to just watch it happen. It's my first roofing job. And they got it done in 2 days. And after I paid everybody, I made $4,400 without doing any of the work. That was a job. It was my job, my contract. I hired it out and let somebody else do it because I don't do roofs. I'm sorry, I got a call. Are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do roofs, y'all. I don't do them. I'm a carpenter. I work inside the house or in the building. Okay. But $4,400 in 2 days without doing any work. I was the owner, the supervisor.
Wow.
I'm in the wrong business.
I know, that is
retiring.
inspiring.
I'm done. I'm just done.
Any other questions? Come on, bring it, y'all. Y'all let me off easy.
I know.
So nervous.
Have you all ever thought about real estate? I know it's, like I said, it's something that my husband and I have thought about for a very long time. And just because we're not handy and we don't know people that can do all the work, we've always put it off. So, when you don't have that skill, is this a good type of investment?
When you don't have that skill, it is a great type of investment. It's a great type of investment because if you can learn, what did I talk to you about before we started talking? The profit and loss statements, the balance sheets, talking to the banks, talking to the lenders. A lot of people that do the work don't understand that part of the business. They don't understand the business. So if you can become, and I'm working on this, becoming a great manager, you pay attention to every detail, you can manage the jobs and hire other people. I'm a carpenter. I'm turning into a CEO. That's why I'm talking millions of dollars, because as a carpenter, we just want our paycheck and we just want to get the job done. Okay. But as a CEO, I have to set the vision. I have to think long term. I have to think portfolio management. I have to develop relationships. And, that's why stuff like this is so important to me, because the ladycarpenter.com will become, my speaking platform. So I want in 10 years, the Lady Carpenter will become a household name. And when you ask a young woman, what does she want to do or be when she grows up? Lady Carpenter needs to be an option. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on a mission to let everybody to know that Lady Carpenter is an option. Before I existed, Lady Carpenter was not an option.
It's true.
Becoming a carpenter, fixing houses, making things beautiful, and owning a Lady Carpenter franchise. That's what I'm working on now. That's how I'm going to turn Lady Carpenter into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, because I'm going to create something that I can share with everyone. And the only way I got that understanding was when I stopped looking for a job and I said, how do I create an asset?
Yeah.
And when you change your mindset and you become, you start thinking assets, profit and loss, balance sheets, instead of how much am I going to make an hour? You say, okay, how can I get my first million? How can I flip that million into 5 million? How can I flip 5 million into 10 million? Like, when you start thinking on that level, it requires education. It requires discipline. You're going to change your whole conversation of who you talking to. Ain't no more, a lot of things are going to fall off by the wayside. And let me tell you guys, when you decide to level up, people around you are not going to understand it. Sometimes they might say things to hurt your feelings. Oh, you talking like a white girl. Oh, you too good. Oh, you can't hang out on the block. Oh, you can't, oh, you think you better than us? People are going to try to get at you, but you stay focused and don't worry about being perfect. Let me tell you something I was listening to a video or a podcast. Don't worry about being perfect. I got stuck in analysis paralysis for a really long time because I was afraid of messing up and what people are going to say about the Lady Carpenter. Y'all can look me up on the internet. There's negative reviews about me, but guess what? I stand by my work and I'm a good person. And just because those people were unhappy doesn't mean that I'm a failure. People are going to say stuff about you that hurts, but you stay focused. Okay. Stay focused on the person that you want to become. Stay focused on the money that you want to make. And you don't let anything deter you. All right. You want to learn about money. You want to learn, the currency is shifting right now. Everybody is used to the physical dollar, the paper money. 5 to 10 years is all going to be digital. You want to learn about digital money. There's something that I'm learning right now. It's called day trading. How to make $1,000 a day. You could sit at your computer and day trade. How to exchange foreign currencies. I know that's real because I went to Africa and I lived in a village. I lived over there in Africa for 18 days, and all my US money converted into the currency of Ghana, which is the cedis. And so I know that people make money by exchanging currencies. So when my money, if I had $100 and I needed to exchange it, they would actually take a portion of that and keep it and send me the rest in the Ghanaian dollars. So you learn about stuff like that. Learn about the economies. Learn about money and finance. And then when you want to learn about marketing, every industry, I don't care what it is, whether it's medical, technology, arts, dance, clothing, fashion. There are 2 things that they need. Everybody needs it. That's finance and that's marketing. You could go to school for it if you want, but it's not a trade. It's not a vocation. Don't look at it as a job. Look at it as a skill. Look at it as like something that you become, a financier, a marketer. You become the asset. Okay. Don't look at, oh, I'm going to get into finance to get a job. I'm going to look into marketing to get a job. No, you become a financier. You become the money man, the money woman. You become the marketer. Okay. And that makes you the asset. You are the asset. And when you become the asset, everything you touch will turn to gold.
Thank you. We have one more question in the chat from Nicoya. Do you know where a hot spot to start for beginners would be?
Hot spot to start for beginners with what?
With real estate
or marketing. Yeah. Okay. real estate. Pittsburgh is such an awesome market. Pittsburgh is a great, great market. And one thing that I learned about, I haven't done this, okay? I have not done this, but I want to. So if you want to partner with me, I'm open. It's called arbitrage. It's called arbitrage. So let's say in Pittsburgh, you got the stadiums, you got downtown, you got the hospitals, you got the universities. A lot of people come into Pittsburgh and they don't live there. They just stay for a short amount of time for business, for sporting events, for school, or whatever. You could actually, was it Nicoya?
Nicoya.
Okay, Nicoya. You could actually rent a property. So you don't even buy it. You don't even own it. You can actually rent a property and I guess sublet it out. Let's say one of my properties, you want to rent one of my properties. You know that my property is going to rent for $1,000 a month. My property is going to rent for $1,000 a month. Okay. Divide that by 30. What you got? $33 a day? Is that something around there? $29, $30 a day?
Yeah,
okay.
something like that, yeah.
All right. Now, one of my properties is located in Sheridan. All right. One of my properties is located in Sheridan. It's right along the river. So it's real close to downtown. You're real close to the stadium, right? You could actually, during football season or whatever, you could rent out that property for, let's say, $60 to $90 a night per room. It's a 4-bedroom. It's a 4-bedroom.
All right.
So let's say you do $90 a night for each room. How much would a hotel be during football season in that area?
Like,
exactly. You're paying $200-300 a night per room. So if you rent my house for $1,000 a month, then you rent it out for, what do we say, $90 per room? You're making $400 a night on, and that's per room. If you block off the living room and make them use the back door, you can actually rent out the living room as an additional room. So that's $500 a night. Okay. And let's say I think the Airbnb or home, what's it called? Short-term rental rule says it's actually a business if it's rented. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all still there? I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's if you rent it for 14 nights out of the month at $500 a night for 14 days, how much money is that in 1 month? 5,000 plus 9.
7,000.
Okay, $7,000 a month. Arbitrage. You ain't buy no house. You ain't did nothing. You know. You just rent it out. Now you might have to pay for some furniture. You know. So that's one place to start. And you could do that in any area near the downtown. You could do it in the Hill District. You could do it in the South Side, Strip District. Even places like Garfield, because it's all like close to the universities in the cities. Oakland is a bit more challenging because you're going to pay $2,000-3,000, but still, if you manage it and run it like a business, you can still make a profit. Arbitrage. It's called Airbnb arbitrage or rental arbitrage. But it's a business, y'all. It's a business. Don't get in this game and be half-stepping, because it'll eat you alive. I've been there, did that. So don't play with it. You got to commit to it. Like I said, you got to become the asset.
well, I am inspired. I don't know about y'all.
You're going to work hard for somebody. It might as well be yourself.
I agree with that. This was amazing. Look, this was a lesson for me. Where were you 20, 30 years ago? Never too late, right? Never too late.
Okay, the children are back. You guys want to say hi? Say hi.
Hello,
Hi.
thank you for giving us your mom for a little
Yes,
while.
thank you so much for giving us your mom, and Miss Tenika, thank you so much for making the time for us. We really, really appreciate it. Be very,
Absolutely.
very, very safe getting back to the Berg, okay?
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
be in
Take
touch.
care.
I'm gonna text you.
I'll be here.
All right. Drive safely. Thank you.
All right. See ya.